Mr. President, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Today, the tax plan announced, and it's interesting. You're getting hit from the left and some on the right. Rand Paul's going to vote for it, I think, but he said it's not significant because the upper income tier doesn't get a lot of tax rate relief or any. And then Ron Wyden calls it basically a middle class con job. It's not really a tax cut for the middle class. So left and right.
Well, they're big tax cuts, the biggest cuts in the history of our country, actually. We have reform, we have simplification. And honestly, I'm surprised a little bit to hear what you're saying, because we've really gotten great reviews. People are loving it. Even a certain newspaper that I don't like very much came out today, and they gave Schumer four Pinocchios. And they said because he was not telling the truth when it came to the middle class, because he said it's for the rich, and it's really not for the rich. It's for the middle class, and it's for jobs. And I would say maybe even in that order. So the middle class is a big beneficiary. Jobs and companies are big beneficiaries, but the companies really create the jobs. And we really have, Laura, we've had tremendous receptivity to it, to a point that I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. So, and I do think Rand Paul, by the way, who I like, I think he's going to vote for it.
Hillary Clinton said last night that paying for the dossier, she defended it basically, and said it's different from meeting with Russians, like meeting with Russians. She was trying to make a comparison, but saying, oh no, she totally defended it.
Well, she talked about Oppo research is wonderful, Oppo research, and it's, but not when it comes to us, okay? Oppo research for us, of course, is no good. No, that dossier, which is totally fake and made up, it's like a novel, but that dossier is a disgrace, and it should not have been allowed to be used. And then I hear the kind of money they spent.
$9 million.
I mean, it's inconceivable. It's absolutely inconceivable. It's horrible.
But we don't know who authorized payment. We don't really yet have.
Well, they're trying to find out, and we'll find out. But they really, I think it's a disgrace that a thing like that can take place.
Donna Brazile, in her new book, writes about the DNC Democrat primary rigging and talks about corruption, internal corruption, and unethical finances. And she tags Hillary Clinton. Are you surprised about this, given what you said about Bernie Sanders being given the short shrift?
I think it's a major story. Now, I don't know if the mainstream fake media, because they are fake and phony, but I just don't know if they're going to pick it up. But I want to tell you, that is a big story, what she's saying. It's illegal, number one, and it's really very unfair to Bernie Sanders. I'm not a Bernie Sanders fan, although I must say I got a lot of his votes. When he was thrown out, many of those people voted for me because of trade, because I agreed with him in trade. We're just doing more about it than he can do, and we're doing a lot about it. But I thought that was terrible.
The justice system, a joke and a laughingstock, you said the other day. What were you?
Well, when I look at immigration and I look at this whole thing coming in by lottery, and then we can't do anything about it quickly, and I look at what's going on with justice when it comes to so many different topics, I
criminal
really
justice?
feel,
You're talking about criminal justice issues?
A lot of justice. This guy would be tied up forever in the court system. You look at some of the cases that are going on forever, and you have them dead to right. No, the justice system has to go quicker, and it has to be really stronger and fairer. Probably has to be fairer, too. But it's very sad when you look at a lottery system and you have people coming into the country through the form of a lottery. And, you know, the countries, just so you understand, the countries aren't putting their finest in there. They're not putting their best and their greatest and their finest in there. And this kid came in through a lottery system that's going to end, and it's going to end fast. In fact, I've already instructed Congress they must end it. And I think we're going to get even Democrat support on this.
You had DACA talks today for the Dreamers. And
I did.
Your base and what you campaigned on was real common sense policies. You talked about E-Verify, building the wall, chain migration, which is a huge problem.
All of those things are happening.
And is that going to be part of any DACA deal? So if the Democrats want Dreamer help, they're going to have to do. They're going to have to do E-Verify, chain migration.
Sure. Chain migration is one of the most important things that most people.
Is that a requirement for you?
Until yesterday, most people never heard of chain migration. I gave a form of a press conference, and I started talking about chain migration. And this horrible animal, he's an animal as far as I'm concerned, 23 people have touched him, maybe came in because he was in, and he was only in with a green card, supposedly. But chain migration, where his whole family comes in, his mother can come in, his father, his grandmother, everybody comes in. Chain migration is a disaster for this country, and it's going to end. Now, I've been talking about it for a while, but I think the public until yesterday probably never heard about chain migration.
Well, the Republicans didn't want to touch it for a long time. You've held up a mirror to what the Republicans weren't doing.
They're touching it now. It's become a very, very strong point right now.
Will it be part of a Dreamer deal,
yes,
a DACA deal?
It'll be part of a DACA deal. DACA's a lot different than Dreamer.
I mean, for the deferred action for childhood arrivals,
yeah.
Will you require that if any amnesty talks will require chain migration to
I don't
end?
think any Republican would vote for anything having to do with leaving chain migration. Chain migration is a disaster for this country, and it's horrible. I mean, just take a look at him. 23 people, potentially 23 people.
Is that verified?
It's what I heard. It's what I gave. Whether it's 23 or whether it's 2, as far as I'm concerned.
That's a big difference, though, 2 or 23.
No, I know that. But I hear it's 23. It's a lot of people.
The wall. And I was at rallies. So that's what people, like, they want that wall
It's
built.
one of the things, but we're going to have a wall.
But Paul Ryan said $1.4 billion he would start. Perhaps that number's been thrown out. But that's a pittance.
Phase 1 during the well, first of all, they're saying the wall's going to cost $40 billion. It's not going to cost anywhere near that. The Democrats are saying we're talking about less than half. Also, you don't have a wall. You have 2,000 miles. You have mountains. You have rivers. You have things that you don't put the wall on. You don't need them. Never was planned for that. No, I think for $18 billion or less, we're going to have a great wall. We're doing prototypes right now. We're going to make the choice. We have the people from Border Patrol and ICE working with us very closely because ultimately they're the ones that are going to have to use it. One of the things that's come up pretty strongly is we want to have vision through the wall because you want to see what's on the other side of the wall. You know, you think we're going to build a nice, simple concrete wall, but it's not that simple. No, we're having the wall. We have to have the wall. We need the wall for another reason, drugs. Drugs are pouring into our country. A lot of them are coming in through the southern border, and the wall will be a tremendous tool to help facilitate the ending of the drugs coming in. No, the wall is actually coming along pretty well. That will also be a part of DACA or whatever.
But a down payment or a guaranteed funding?
Well, look, when we get the down payment, we're going to have a guarantee. Believe me, we're not taking a down payment and then say, where's the rest of the money?
That can be a scam as well.
Because, you know, you don't spend all the money immediately. So we can put it back. But when we take a down payment, I'm going to say, I want to make sure the rest of the money is coming.
You're heading off to Asia, huge trip.
Yeah.
Lots of stakes. You got North Korea, a deal with the Chinese. You're going to stop in Seoul. Your State Department still has some unfilled positions. Are you worried that the State Department doesn't have enough Donald Trump nominees in there to push your vision through? Because other State Departments, including Reagan's at times, undermined his agenda. And there is a concern that the State Department currently is undermining your agenda.
So we don't need all the people that they want. You know, don't forget, I'm a business person, and I tell my people, well, you don't need to fill slots, don't fill them. But we have some people that I'm not happy with their
But
thinking
Assistant
process.
Secretary of State, you're not getting rid of that position.
But let me tell you, the one that matters is me. I'm the only one that matters because when it comes to it, that's what the policy is going to be. You've seen that. You've seen it strongly. We're filling up roles. And don't forget, Schumer and the Democrats are just obstructing. You can't get anything through. We have almost about half the number of people coming through as Obama had. But in addition to that, we don't need all of the people. You know, it's called cost saving. You know, in the old days.
But you want your vision pushed.
I want my vision, but my vision is my vision anyway. It's called cost saving. There's nothing wrong with cost saving. Rex is in there working hard. He's doing his best. He's doing the best he can.
Is he going to be with you for the duration?
Well, we'll see. I don't know who's going to be. Duration, I think the duration, I tell you this. I don't think any president in 9 months has done the job that we've done. And that includes bills being passed by Congress. You look at what's passed by the Senate, by the House. I think we're close to 70 bills, maybe over 70 bills. It's almost a record. You look at all of the deregulation. You look at Supreme Court Justice Gorsuch. You look at all of the other district judges, federal district judges and Court of Appeals judges. I don't think, and then, of course, take a look at the economy.
Look at the economy.
Take a look.
Are you getting the credit for this economic revival without your tax cut yet through, without Obamacare repeal yet? And this is a stunning economic revival in 10 months.
One of the greatest in the history of our country. And I'm in here now 10 months. And we are setting record after record, day after day. I think we hit another one today. No, I'm not getting enough credit for it because a lot of the reason is enthusiasm level, business level, and also the fact that I've cut regulations to the extent that I've cut them. I mean, I could tell you jobs that were never going to get built are now being built. Take a look at the pipelines, the Keystone Pipeline, the Dakota Access Pipeline. I mean, every day we're hitting new highs. Very important GDP. You take a look, GDP 3.2, and now 3. And the last one was after 4 or 5 really, obviously, horrible hurricanes. And that's the equivalent of a point. So that would have been a 4. A 4 was unthinkable. And each time we go up a point, that's $2.5 trillion and thousands, I mean, millions of jobs, actually. The thing I'm most proud about, companies are starting to come back into our country. They were leaving.
Repatriating.
They are coming
American
back in.
companies.
And one of the things about our taxes, you talk about repatriation, we're bringing in probably, I think the number is going to be over $4 trillion coming back into our country.
Speaking of, are you going to do China enforcement on this trip? Tell China intellectual property theft, the subsidies, dumping in our country.
Yeah.
Are you going to be tough on the enforcement side, given what they're doing to this country?
You have to understand something very important. We have a problem called North Korea.
But you're going to you delinked it with Korea, with South Korea's trade deficit.
Well, we're going to see. But we have one problem that's a very big problem. It's called North Korea. China has been helpful. We are talking trade with China. But I am also, it's not
it's
just, you're not in a total vacuum. And President Xi has been pretty terrific. Most people have been saying, whether it's cutting the banking system off from North Korea, whether it's cutting the oil down to North Korea, cutting supplies down. And I must tell you, North Korea is a thing that I think we will solve. And if we don't solve it, it's not going to be very pleasant for them. It's not going to be very pleasant, I guess, for anybody. But China is helping us.
Japan's worried. They're worried.
Well, of course they're worried. They should be worried. They're very close to North Korea.
They want a nuclear pledge from the United States if they go after Japan.
Japan is a warrior nation.
Yeah.
And I tell China and I tell everyone else that listens, I mean, you're going to have yourself a big problem with Japan pretty soon if you allow this to continue with North Korea.
Are you going to make any pledges to Japan to defend them?
Well, look, they're an ally.
Capacity? They're
an ally. The Prime Minister is a very good friend of mine. Prime Minister Abe, I've become very close. I've become very, very close to President Xi of China. I think a lot of good things are going to happen. I think it's a very important trip. I think this is one of the more important trips that a president has made.
You don't like traveling now, right? You're not a big fan of traveling.
I don't love it, but I think it's important. I'm going to China. I'm going to Japan, South Korea. I'm then going to Vietnam, where we have a tremendous trade conference, and we're starting to do well in trade. Look, NAFTA is a disaster. NAFTA is killing us, and we're renegotiating.
You're going to talk to him on this trip?
We may have a meeting with Putin. And again, Putin is very important because they can help us with North Korea.
Syria?
They can help us with Syria. We have to talk about Ukraine.
Are you having fun in this job?
I am.
Is it?
I love it. Well, there's been a lot of false reporting that I'm angry about things.
I've never seen you angry. I've known you for 14 years.
No, I think the press is fake. A lot of the media is fake. But so you could say there's a certain anger there, but it's not really anger. It's really amazement how dishonest, when you get right down, how dishonest the news is. But
your family's adjusting
I am really, I think my family's been treated unfairly. I think that Ivanka's been treated very unfairly, frankly. Melania is really just powering through it. She's been incredible. People love Ivanka. People love Melania. And, they go through it. But I do think the family's been treated a little bit unfairly. In the end, what is very nice is we really have, I don't think, I'm not saying this in a braggadocious way, I don't think over a period of 9 or 10 months there's been any president in the beginning of their presidency that's done anywhere close. When you think about regulations and Supreme Court and so many different things and stock markets and the economy.
I like the fact that you're impatient for change in a city that is slow moving and moves at a glacial pace. And that's something you got from the business.
Well, and
you're impatient for change.
And the most important thing that we're going to be doing is tax cuts. Tax cuts, if we get this through, and I think we will, you're going to see this economy take off like a rocket ship.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.